Gentleman's game here. Approaching and meeting girls in 2021 can seem like a daunting, scary task for a lot of you. Between the lockdowns, the Me Too movement, societal conditioning, I honestly wouldn't blame you if you were terrified to say hi to that cute girl looking at you from across the room at a Starbucks. But don't worry, cause today I'm gonna break down for you how you can introduce yourself to a girl in a way that's not only socially calibrated, smooth, and non-offensive, but is going to make you seem cool and high value. Someone she'd actually want to go on a date with. But before we get started on the video, I have an announcement to make, which is my end of summer sale for my flagship course, The Gentleman's Gameplan. Meaning for the next 48 hours only, if you enroll in the game plan, you'll get a free one-on-one consultation call from me personally. If you've been struggling with meeting girls and you like my videos, know that the game plan is my magnum opus, where I've consolidated 8 years of everything I've ever learned about seduction and game. Just check out the link in the description box below if you want to learn more. Now back to the video. So I'm gonna do this by breaking down different scenarios in which you'd see a cute girl you didn't know, and then how you should go about approaching her in each scenario. For example, let's start with a girl who's walking. Let's say you're walking down the street in the downtown area of your local city, and you see a super cute girl wearing an elegant sundress, strolling down the opposite side of the block. What do? How do you approach her? Well, I'll tell you what you don't do. You don't approach her from the side, meaning from a 90-degree angle. Why is this such a bad idea? Well, it's because people are evolved to sense danger from their periphery vision. That's why they call it a blind spot. So if you approach a girl that's walking from a 90-degree angle from the side, it's almost a guarantee that you're gonna startle her. And let me tell you, it's almost impossible to save an interaction once you've already startled her. So remember to never approach her from the side. What you want to do instead is to walk along with her in the same direction, side by side, parallel. Ideally, you'd even be half a step ahead of her so that she can see you and you don't catch her off guard. Then you simply turn to her, making eye contact, smile, and say hi. This is the strategy I'd use if she seems like she's in a rush, cause she's obviously not gonna stop for you. Now, if she seems like she's confused by why you're walking with her, you can just casually mention that you were going this way anyways, before commenting on something about her that caught your eye. Remember, a good approach seems as natural as possible, like you didn't go out of your way to stop her. Now, if she's just casually strolling, not seeming like she's in a rush, I'd also suggest approaching in this parallel way, but you have to remember to get her attention. A lot of guys will say, "Hey," in this meek voice, and the girl won't even hear you. Then he'll just make up something in his head like, "Aw, damn, she's ignoring me. Guess she's not interested." When in reality, she literally just couldn't hear you, or wasn't aware you were trying to get her attention. You can even casually tap on her shoulder or hand wave over to her, as long as you don't do it from behind and startle her. At the end of the day, you have to get comfortable and not overthink harmless social tactics like tapping a girl on the shoulder to get her attention. It's not creepy. In fact, if someone in front of you dropped their wallet but was wearing headphones so they couldn't hear you calling out to them, you'd probably tap them on the shoulder too. So this is a normal thing, and again, don't overthink it. Now let's talk about another scenario. What if the girl is sitting down somewhere, like on a park bench? Well, a huge mistake that guys will make in this scenario is that they'll just walk up right to her, stand there, and start talking to her. Now think, what's wrong with this situation? Well, he's literally talking down to her. As long as she's sitting and you're standing, the more uncomfortable and forced the interaction feels. It feels like you're approaching. You don't want it to seem like an approach. You want to make it feel as spontaneous as possible, like she just happened to bump into a really cool guy, like things just naturally progressed, and all of a sudden she's kissing you on a date. you don't want to make it feel like you're going out of your way to approach her like some weird creep. So what you want to do instead is to sit down with her, if she's showing you some indicators that she's willing to talk. When you're on the same level with her, it seems like you're someone that she knows, almost like friends, or like you two are on a date. This makes a tremendous difference in the entire vibe between you and her. So I suggest this. If you go up to a girl that's sitting, smile and say hi. Say something you noticed about her that you thought was interesting, and see how she responds. If she's clearly giving you negative body language, like avoiding eye contact or a one-word sentence as a reply, then I suggest to leave her alone. But the moment she asks you a question back, the moment she starts to invest a little bit back into the interaction, sit down. After all, she wouldn't ask you a question unless part of her wanted you to stay, right? If she wanted you gone, she'd barely say a word. The last thing she'd do is ask a question. So sit down when she does this, because it makes a huge difference to the energy of the vibe, and will make her want to see you again. If you're worried you'll look needy or too straightforward by sitting down, what you can even do is something called a time constraint, to make it seem like you have somewhere to be, but you have 2 minutes to chat with this lovely lady. Like, hey, I gotta go in a minute, but sure, yeah, I'll answer your question, or something like that. This way, you seem like a cool, normal guy who has stuff going on in his life, but's just taking a moment to talk to her, which will make her feel way better about talking to you, cause she knows you're gonna be gone in a second anyways. But my main point is, sit down. The moment you sit down, it makes it 20 times as likely that she'll want to give you her number or her IG to meet you again. Now, another huge mistake that guys will make here, once the interaction is starting to go well, like she's laughing at your jokes, vibing with you well, they'll do what I call underclosing. Meaning, let's say she was down to go on a date with you on the spot, but instead of taking her on an instantaneous date, you just went for the number which she gives you. See how this win was actually a loss? I mean, you got her number, but you could have been on an actual date with her already. Getting the number might feel really good, but don't just walk away feeling like you won, because you don't know if she'll even respond to your texts. I've been in so many situations before where the number turned out to be a flaky number, or instances where she responds once or twice before ignoring you. A number isn't good enough on its own. It has to be a solid number, meaning she'll actually text you back and be willing to meet up. And the best way to get a solid number is to make a great impression. You've gotten her to invest a little back into you and gotten her curious about who you are. So focus on actually making her feel attraction towards you and taking her out on a date, not just getting her number as some sort of consolation prize, or if you feel like you have to rush and close her out of nervousness. Take your time, focus on the vibe, and if it's right, then everything else will fall into place. So that's the main message I wanted to get out there with today's video, which was kind of just a quick primer on things you want to keep in mind, some do's and don'ts while meeting women in 2021. As always, make sure to throw this video a like and subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I have a crazy video planned next that you're not going to want to miss. As always, peace.